The house below the lake. It was never on the map, not on satellite, not on paper, no photos, no records. And yet, there it was. A perfectly preserved house at the bottom of a dry lake, discovered in 2023 after a severe drought drained the entire lakebed. No one knew who built it. No foundations, no driveway, no path, just a single Victorian home, silent, untouched, and completely buried beneath where the water had once been. Locals came, then left quickly. Researchers visited, then disappeared. The government sealed the area and said nothing. But I saw it, and I went inside. This is my story, and if you're hearing it, it means I survived. But I don't know how long I'll still be. Myself. Part 1. The drying. It started with the drought. Northern California had been bone dry for 2 years, and by spring, Lake Arbor was nothing more than cracked earth and a few puddles. I'd been sent to document environmental collapse. Just a freelance video guy, small YouTube channel, some local gigs. My job was simple: get a drone shot of the lakebed and interview a park ranger. But when the drone dropped down over the deepest part of the dried lake, I saw it. A house, just ... standing there, alone, intact, not sunken, not rotted, just ... old. The moment I zoomed in on the drone feed, I felt it. A pressure behind my eyes, like something ancient had noticed me. I didn't say anything to the ranger. I just marked the coordinates, packed up, and told him I got everything I needed. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept rewatching the footage. There were no roads, no signs of a past shoreline, just that one house in the middle of nowhere, and something else. In the window, on the second floor, a face. Part 2. The descent. I returned the next day. Alone, no camera crew, no interviews, just me, a flashlight, and my phone fully charged, with a fresh SD card. The house stood exactly where I'd seen it. It wasn't an illusion. White paint, cracked and faded. Windows still intact. A front door slightly ajar, like it had been waiting for someone to come back. There were no footsteps in the dust, no signs of animals, nothing. It was like the world forgot it existed. Until now, as I stepped across the threshold, my ears popped like I'd crossed into lower pressure. The air inside was cold, still, and smelled of old water. Not mildew, not rot, just stagnant, ancient dampness. The floorboards creaked, but not loudly, like they were too tired to complain. My flashlight flickered, then steadied. The house was furnished impeccably, a velvet couch, untouched, lamps with shades yellowed by time, a grandfather clock, frozen at 2:17. That's when I noticed something strange. There was no dust, not on the tables, not on the windows, not even on the chandelier. Part 3. The rooms that weren't there, explored slowly, calling out a few times, just to hear my own voice. No echo, just soft, choking silence. The kitchen looked like it hadn't been used in 100 years, yet the faucet dripped slowly, tap, tap, tap. But the strangest part came when I tried to map the layout. The house was small from the outside, 2 floors, maybe 6 rooms, tops, but inside, it felt ... endless. The hallway stretched longer than it should. Rooms folded into other rooms, some repeating themselves, others vanishing when I turned around. Once, I stepped through a door and ended up in a copy of the first room I entered. Same broken lamp, same frozen clock, same creaky board near the rug, but the couch was on the ceiling. I laughed nervously. My voice cracked. Then I heard it. Footsteps upstairs, slow, heavy, wet. Part 4. The upstairs. I wanted to leave. I told myself to leave, but my legs didn't listen. Something pulled me forward, curiosity, maybe, or something else. The stairs groaned under my weight as I ascended. The temperature dropped with each step. Upstairs, the hallway stretched forever. The walls were lined with framed portraits, each one blank. Just parchment inside, aged and curled. But the longer I stared, the more I swore I saw shapes forming behind the glass. At the end of the hall, a door opened on its own. Inside was a nursery. A crib sat in the corner, pristine. A mobile of small carved fish dangled above it, spinning slowly. I don't know why, but I stepped in as soon as I crossed the threshold. The door slammed shut behind me. The mobile stopped spinning, and in the crib, something began to breathe. Part 5. The breathing thing guy stood frozen in the nursery. The sound coming from the crib wasn't quite breathing, it was wet, gurgling, like someone trying to inhale through water. I stepped closer, against every instinct in my body. Inside the crib, there was no baby. There was something wrapped in blankets, twitching beneath the fabric. The shape was wrong, too long, too narrow, and it pulsed, as though something inside was still alive. I reached out. God, help me. I reached out and peeled back one corner of the blanket. There was only water, dark, black water, swirling in. The shape of a child, and in the center of that swirling liquid, an open eye stared back at me. It blinked, then the crying started, not from the crib, but from the hallway, high-pitched, echoing, human, but wrong. Too sharp, too loud, like it was coming from a throat that had forgotten how to make the sound. I ran. Part 6. The mirror. Hallie tried the nursery door, locked. The crying got closer, then it stopped. Total silence. Then a knock on the door. One soft knock, followed by scratching. I backed away until I saw something shimmer in the corner. A mirror. An old full-body mirror, standing crooked near the dresser. But it didn't reflect the room behind me. It reflected the hallway. I could see the door I came through, and in the reflection, the door slowly creaked open. Nothing was there, but then something crawled into frame, backwards, like a person crab walking on all fours, limbs bending the wrong way. Its mouth hung open in a silent scream. Its eyes were pitch black. It wore a tattered version of my own clothes. I blinked hard. The mirror was empty again. When I turned around, the nursery door was open. Part 7. The basement that shouldn't exist. I didn't know what I was chasing anymore. Truth. Escape. But I ended up back in the main hallway, heart racing, flashlight flickering again. That's when I saw it. A narrow door beneath the stairs. I hadn't seen it before. I was sure it wasn't there. But now, it was wide open, and beyond it, a staircase led down, far deeper than any house should go. The stairs were slick. I descended slowly, gripping the wall. After a while, I stopped counting the steps. The temperature dropped below freezing. My breath fogged in the air. Then I reached it. Not a basement, a mirror of the house above. Same furniture, same layout, but everything was underwater. The floor was submerged ankle-deep in black liquid. Furniture floated gently in the gloom, and in the center of the room stood a figure, still drenched, facing away. Part 8. The drown. The figure didn't move, just stood there, water dripping steadily from its long, stringy hair. Its back was to me. I couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman. It was tall, thin, skin pale gray, clothes tattered, hanging like they'd been soaking for decades. I raised my flashlight. The beam trembled in my hand. "Hello?" I whispered. Are you real?" The figure twitched, not turned. Twitched, like every muscle fired at once. Then, slowly, it lifted an arm and pointed toward the far wall. Not at me. At something behind the wall itself. The wall began to ripple, like a pond touched by wind. The paint bubbled, then peeled away in strips, revealing wood, stone, no glass, a window that looked out into complete blackness, and pressed against the other side of the glass was a face, but not just any face. Mine, bloated, waterlogged, eyes pale and drifting, lips parted in silent horror. It stared at me. The figure in front of me lowered its hand and turned. It was me, not metaphorically, not in some symbolic way. It was a perfect copy of me, dead-eyed, soaked skin, falling off in strips. I ran. Part 9. The exit that isn't he. Don't remember how long I ran. The underwater house shifted, twisted around me. Rooms flipped upside down. Hallways led to nothing but walls. I was screaming now, something raw and primal. But finally, somehow, I found the stairs. I climbed. I swear it took hours to get back to the first floor. But when I burst through the stairwell door, I was back outside. The sun was setting. The sky was orange and purple. The lake bed stretched around me, empty and dry, as if nothing had happened. The house behind me was silent again. Still, no wet footprints, no sounds, no mirror versions. I stumbled back to my car and drove for 3 hours before I even looked in the mirror. When I did, I saw something wrong. My reflection blinked before I did. Part 10. The return. It's been 6 days since I got out, but the dreams haven't stopped. Every night, I'm back in that house, walking the hallways, opening doors that don't belong, hearing crying from the walls. I tried to delete the footage. It reappeared. I destroyed the SD card. It was in my coat pocket the next day. People I've never met recognize me, say they've seen me before, in the woods, in their dreams. Last night, I woke up with water in my lungs. I coughed it up, black, thick, reeking of lake rot, I think. I never left. I think the house is still inside me, and someday soon, I'll go back. If you're still watching, it means you made it out. For now. But remember, some houses don't need to chase you. They just wait for you to come back. If this story gave you chills, show your support with a like. Subscribe to hear more tales like this, and turn on notifications, because next time, it might not be you watching. It might be your reflection. Thanks for listening, sleep tight, and don't look in the mirror tonight.